Alright, so to talk about kind of lighting and proper exposure, I saved out a frame. It wasn't quite finished rendering. We can see we have a little bit of caustic noise around the eyes here yet, but it's good enough to kind of talk about exposure and things we would look for and think about. I would say that this is a little bit blown out for my tastes, and I'll show you kind of what the compositor would be dealing with and maybe why we would want to dial back these lights a little bit while we're doing our look dev setup and trying to create these materials. So if you want that 50% gray background there, because as you've probably already noticed, there's an alpha it's cut out. All we do is create a new layer down here, drop it below. Let's call it gray BG for gray background. This is our head layer, and over here we can go ahead and just grab our 50% gray. So we'd want our hue. Oops. Let's go back to here. Zero and 50. So that's 50% gray. We can hit Function Shift F5 if you're on a Mac, and we want to use our foreground color. That's what I have over here. And there we have that same 50% background that we had inside of Maya. So if you want the same look of the setup, that's fine. For what I'm talking about here, it's not necessarily a huge deal. So the next thing that I want to kind of think about or look at here is we never want anything that's kind of 100% white. So if I click on this swatch right here, we can see it jumps all the way up to 100% white. And what that means is that I have no room to get detail back. Okay, so because this isn't slightly less, there's going to be areas in here that are pinned all the way at the top, and if I try to adjust my layers or my levels, I like to do it through curves. We can't really get any information back here. It all just kind of drops at the same rate. And another kind of sign that we're too bright on our lights is right before it gets to the end of here, you can see a spike. So this is kind of telling me where my colors are at. Let's move this guy out of the way. You can see my blacks. It never goes to complete black, right? But it gets pinned past white. So this is actually pretty good because I can adjust my levels so that I do get to complete black, right? So I can always get to more black if I want, but I can never get back from black. Just like white, I can always dial things up so I can kind of get more white into it, but once I'm at 100% white, I can never get information back. So we're always looking to be a little bit shy of complete black and a little bit shy of complete white, and to me that's a nice balanced exposure, and it gives a lot of options for our post-production team, the color graders and the compositors to have a full range of pixels out there, and none of them are burning out where they're 100% white, and none are 100% black where we really can't do anything with them. So if it's helpful for you to kind of bring this into Photoshop, bring up your curves and kind of see where your color profile is, then I would definitely do it. If you see anything that's almost all one solid color like we're seeing on the face here, that kind of tells you that it's way too bright. And if this feels too white, like 100% white, then you probably want to dial back your lighting a little bit. But that's sort of what I look for. This color swatch can be used for color grading and other things in post, but mainly that's kind of what I'm looking for here. If your light setup when you're given this type of information, if HDRIs were shot on set, they probably did color chips like this as well, so that you can actually match the lighting of that HDR. So there is a way to once you have that image profile to kind of correct the lighting inside of RenderMan, so that you're 100% matching the light that was taken on set.